Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever Broker Highlights. The whole idea behind this segment that we have, that we're going to be having on our YouTube channel, is basically to show what it takes to actually be a mortgage broker, what it takes to be a real estate broker, and to give you guys a little bit of a background on what our mortgage brokers actually do and where they come from. I think it's important not only to know what people's story is currently, but also where they're from, what they've done in the past, and what they're planning to do in the future. So past, present, and future. With me today, we have Guy Belanger, who I think, Guy, you've been with us now for how long?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. Three very fast years.
It's crazy how time goes by.
Time goes by very quickly. Yeah. And it's been an incredible ride. Really enjoyable, lots of new experiences, lots of knowledge gained over the years, but 3 years, unreal.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, because you have a very interesting background, one that is very different from where you are today from where you were.
Yeah. So I in university I studied biology, so I'm a bit of a scientist. And I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a total of about 15 years. Had various positions in sales, marketing, and management. And about 4 years ago, I decided to leave the industry, leave an industry that was near and dear to my heart, one that I learned a whole lot from, to become an entrepreneur, become self-employed, and particularly, specifically, become a mortgage broker.
What made you gravitate towards being a mortgage broker instead of going, the typical real estate broker kind of route that a lot of people?
I'm not afraid of a lot of hard work, but
Let's just clarify. He's not saying that real estate brokers don't work hard.
No, real estate brokers, mortgage brokers work very hard for the living that they earn. The only thing that I would say is I didn't want to, I didn't want to, it's really simple. I didn't want to drive people around in the evenings and on weekends. That's a big part of a realtor's responsibilities. I knew that that wouldn't be for me, but I do enjoy real estate. I have an interest in real estate, and I do love helping people. So, and I'm an analytical mind. So I'm a scientist from training in university. And so I enjoy analyzing numbers, I enjoy digging deep, researching, and I think being a mortgage broker is closer to my skill set than being a realtor.
We share very kind of similar paths, where I studied engineering and I ended up choosing going into this world just because of the numbers, and I enjoyed it, and it was okay. So that's very cool.
And that's not to say that someone who hasn't studied hasn't studied accounting can't be a great mortgage broker. You have people from all walks of life becoming mortgage brokers or realtors.
Okay, so is there any other reason why you chose this profession?
I wanted to invest in real estate. I had done so about 10 years ago, and I wanted to continue doing that, and I felt like understanding mortgages and financing was a big part of investing in real estate, so I felt like that would serve me in building a real estate portfolio.
Now, you originally came from Toronto, correct?
Yes.
What sparked the move to go from Toronto to Montreal?
Well, actually, I'm from Montreal.
Okay.
I was transferred to Toronto through working with one of the pharmaceutical companies I worked for in 2006, and I only spent about 12 months in Toronto, bought a beautiful condo there, held on to it. That's one of my real estate investments, and then I was transferred back to Quebec about 12 months later.
Okay, so hold on. That's also very interesting. You yourself are a real estate investor. So you started off by buying some condos in Toronto.
Yeah.
You also, I know, own real estate over here.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is when you're advising your clients to actually be able to walk the talk, if you will? For people that kind of listen to our show on CJAD, I've always said, I started off my career early on as a financial advisor, and I used to sell mutual funds and insurance and all these wonderful things. But when somebody would actually come to me and say, hey, I have $100,000 to invest, I wanted to shake them and say, go buy real estate, especially in the year 2000 when I got into this crazy business. How do you find? Do you find it's important? 'Cause I felt like a hypocrite if I wasn't actually doing what I was supposed to be doing. If I wasn't doing what I was advising my clients to do, I felt hypocritical.
Yeah.
Do you feel kind of the same way, or?
Definitely. I think what you bring to the table when you have experience in investing is some of the things that aren't necessarily shared or discussed on paper. Financing is only one part of becoming a real estate investor. There's property management, there's maintenance, tenants, leases. There's a whole world, there's a whole set of knowledge and experience that you need to have when you invest in real estate. So it goes a long way when you have that experience, and people are going to ask you for advice beyond just your mortgage. So it's important that you have the answers, or that you can get the answers for clients.
And it's a big challenge a lot of times that clients will have when they actually go and they speak to someone that works in a bank or other mortgage brokers in general, where they don't have that experience, right? You'll find people that are working, and it's not to shoot down people that are working in the banking world. There's a lot of really hardworking and great people out there, but a lot of them, they're a teller one day, and then the next day, they're a mortgage advisor in a bank, where they are advising people on investments. Talk a little bit about the education, if you will. How did you, when you made the decision to become a mortgage broker, what was the training? What did you have to go through to actually get to the place where you are today?
Well, going back to what you asked me earlier, I initially wanted to go into real estate brokerage.
Okay.
So I enrolled in a college downtown Montreal to take the real estate course. It's about a 6-month course, approximately 8 courses altogether, and that's about a $3,500 investment. Seeing as there was a lot of studying and course time involved, I wasn't working, so I quit my job, decided to enroll in this program. Once I finished, took about 6 to 8 months. Once I finished, there was an exam to write with the OACIQ. That exam takes quite a bit of studying. That's about another $800 investment. And finally, when you pass that exam, you then apply for your license, which is another few $1,000. And so altogether, it's quite a substantial financial investment, but also quite an investment in your time and effort and energy.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if I was to look at the last 3 years of you being in the business,
yes,
what's something that I would say, what's the best thing that's happened to you?
Best thing that's happened to me is growing my clientele. Just having people pick up the phone or write you an email and say, we heard that you do a great job, we'd like to get pre-approved or get our mortgage through you. That's the best thing ever, because I started from a point where I had absolutely nobody in my repertoire, no clients, nothing at all, to now having a database of a few hundred clients that call me for their mortgage. So it's not one thing. It's something that happened over time, and when I think about it, I find it pretty unreal that people call me for their mortgage now. It's amazing.
It's kind of it's a surreal experience.
It's a surreal experience, and it shows that if you put your mind to something
Sure.
and you work at it, you can achieve anything.
Definitely. Okay, so moving forward, what's exciting? I mean, we're in the tail end right now of 2018. We're moving into 2019. What's exciting you? You know, the year's closing.
Yeah.
New year's starting. Where do you see yourself in 2019? What's exciting? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I think to look back on 2017, I can say that it's been a very busy and successful year for me. I've implemented some new marketing and networking strategies that have worked. What I'm looking forward to in 2019 and beyond is implementing some new marketing strategies, new networking strategies, getting out there and getting more clientele. The Montreal market is a very active one right now. Home prices are increasing. And then in 2019, I look forward to just doing better than I did the previous year.
That's very cool. And okay, so Guy's name it's Guy Belanger, right? So he's got a very interesting kind of angle that he's taken, which you're known as the Montreal mortgage guy,
Montreal
right?
mortgage guy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little bit of a play on words, if you will, with your name.
Yeah.
You want to tell us? You have a website. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I have a website. It's not under the guise of Montreal Mortgage Guy, but I use that on my social media, so Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm under Montreal Mortgage Guy.
Okay, very cool, very cool. And now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Okay. If I was to ask you,
yeah,
a couple of books, if you will, that you've read in the last couple of years that have helped you kind of propel your career, what would they be?
One of the great books that I've read recently is a book by a mortgage broker called Dustin Woodhouse.
Yeah.
He is a mortgage broker out of Vancouver in British Columbia, and he has a series of books called Be the Better Broker.
Right.
The books they're 4 books, and each of them discusses a different stage in the career of a mortgage broker, one just starting out versus volume 4, one that's experienced, that's been in business for many years. And Dustin really breaks down what you can do to be a more successful broker, from following up with clients to a lot of the technology that's out there that we could use to grow our business. And he's a very successful broker, so I take his advice very seriously.
Very coal.
Great book if anybody is thinking of becoming a mortgage broker.
Be the Better Broker.
Yeah.
Right. Read the book. Fantastic book. Dustin's a good guy. I've had many conversations with him, and definitely a very good mortgage broker. Now you touched on something else that's very important, is technology.
Yes.
Right. This is something that a lot of brokers kind of will shy away from. You know, we've implemented tools and technologies and all kinds of interesting stuff at Northeast. Almost, you know, we were a little bit cutting edge at times. You know, we stretched people's comfort zones. You know, we force people to kind of do things that really stretches them and really kind of gets them to. I think a big part of it has to do with accountability and whether or not the broker is accountable to themselves and to the client as well, right? So you feel that technology has been a big part of your kind of evolution, and moving forward it would help. It helps.
Absolutely, and I think every mortgage broker, every realtor out there has to find what works for them.
Sure.
You know, LinkedIn may work really well for some, and it may not work for others. You know, as technology evolves, as we use it more and more in our daily lives, we may be in a place where we meet people face to face, maybe less so than we used to before, because we can do everything virtually and remotely. I think the human touch is still very important. I still think it's very important for me to meet my clients face to face, but we may be moving away from that, and ultimately we'll have to adapt. And technology is going to be used differently by different people, and you have to find what works right for you.
Okay. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me. If someone wants to reach out and get a hold of Guy, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can get a hold of me on social media, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Montreal Mortgage Guy, and you can also contact me directly at 514-892-8304.
Okay, cool. And we'll put that at the bottom of the screen for anyone that wants to reach out to Guy directly. Thank you for watching this segment. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, newsonthego.ca, where we have not only our broker highlights, which we're going to be featuring every couple of weeks, but as well we have our radio show that we do every week on CJAD 800 AM from 1 to 2. There's a little plug for CJAD. Looking forward to seeing everyone and hearing your comments. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post them, and you can call us directly. Have an awesome day.